Yeah, it's a word that's overused, spiritual. But we actually, as I mentioned, we before we started writing together again, I think we both said to each other, I couldn't really see that I would want to work with anybody else but you at this moment. And you said the same thing about me. I think it's because we've just trusted each other more than it is when we've collaborated with so many people. But we discussed and talked the philosophy of this project. It was like, it might have been easier for us to sit down and say, hey, let's do another Q-Feel record, which we sort of played around with that concept and did a little bit of work. But what really resonated to both of us was that we wanted to write from where we were now in our lives. I also thought it was important that we've never done anything like this before.
Right.
I've never gone into a studio being unprepared. So that was fresh to me. Also, the things we love from our musical heritage might have been prog rock, it might have been minimalist rock, it might have been the Blue Nile, Cocteau Twins, Prefab Sprout.
That's a good point, actually.
Jazz, yeah. And Joni Mitchell. And we would have always thought in our days, like, well, we're not in that at the moment. So it's lovely that it's in our blood, that music is. But as we were talking in the kitchen, you have to have success in a certain way to get to the next stage. Otherwise, you don't end up musicians like we are and feel comfortable and secure to go on.
We're not discovering something that didn't exist when we talk about spiritualism. We always had, you always listened to spiritual music. We just didn't know what the place for it was back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, like there's always, we were talking about Pink Floyd before, like there was metal.
Yeah.
You know, like 25 minutes of improvisation.
But even with us, when we did Heroes Never Die,
yeah,
and we were moving into still, whenever we were doing those commercial tracks, we were going like, oh, this feels like a church. This feels emotional. So it was built into our
It was very
ethos.
important,
Yeah,
even in our early days, to introduce the spiritualism in some way, even though we had tighter confines.